Welcome to our video on astrological gardening, new moon in Libra, horoscope with astrology, planetary archangels, and zodiac angels to magically help your urban or suburban garden and or agricultural project accomplish success so you can feed your family while creating a healthy community environment. As we continue to enter into the grand solar minimum, it becomes more and more important to be able to harvest our food from God's own plentiful earth. Using astrology to increase yield from crops is essential. A new moon in Libra, the scales, gives opportunities for new beginnings of personal aspects of what one is dedicated to and what path should be followed for the purpose of achieving happiness, which then leads towards successful outcomes. Libra new moon grants a profusion of new opportunities in areas of law and commitment regarding businesses and relationships with farmers markets or community gardening projects. Edible produce, spices, and herbs are for the purpose of provisions of these crops for immediate or extended family. Larger commercial agricultural companies and products would most likely require approval from federal or state officials due to natural seventh house associations within the sign of Libra, the scales. Gardeners, both urban and suburban, or farmers often find meaningful fulfillment from their projects, especially since growing produce requires a lot of tender loving care and commitment, as well as knowledge about federal, local, and state laws regarding these activities. Faithfulness and attention to learning all one can about not just the law of the land, but also the laws of nature regarding the care of any chosen crops is essential for a successful outcome. Learning about not just how, but what produce to plant, grow, harvest, and store for the benefits of self and others in one's community is essential. Good judgment yields flourishing crops when under the care and watchful eye of the astrological gardener or farmer. This is an occasion to interact with elementals, especially the sylphs of air, because Libra the scales is a cardinal air sign, communicating with the salamanders of fire, undines of water, and gnomes of earth, coming into effect together, and with a cornucopia amount of perseverance, all working together towards providing a prosperous yield. Communicating with the moon during this new moon lunar phase, while making sure to use skills learned in regards to astrological planting and harvesting, is of imperative significance. Bring a profusion of prosperity and treasures into your family circle by sowing and reaping seeds which will generate generous crops for food, which can be shared by extended family and community as well, that are also able to be sold at local farmers markets. These concepts are especially important during a grand solar minimum, such as the one in which we now find ourselves. Generally, a new moon with its increasing moonlight is great for planting produce such as cruciferous vegetables, asparagus, lettuce, spinach, and those annuals which with leaves growing above ground with seeds outside of the crop. Cucumbers are an exception to this rule since they have seeds inside the produce. Specifically, when Luna visits the zodiac sign of Libra, the scales, it is a wonderful time for planting several elegant varietals of aromatic herbs and flowers. Herbs that indulge the senses, such as oregano, basil, mint, rosemary, lavender, and lemon balm, are beneficial choices for planting of seeds during an occasion of Libra's new moon. Flowers equally heady in their perfumes are gardenias, roses, lilac, lily of the valley, and mock orange. Keep in mind that Libra is a masculine sign, being yang in nature, an air sign, although moist rather than dry, as might be otherwise designated by masculine yang qualities. Libra has a designation of, quote, the scales, unquote, due to its placement on the astrological and agricultural wheel, where it is considered somewhat fertile. Since Libra is akin to the natural seventh house of law and commitment, this is a good time to establish roots and integrity of already producing, being transplanted. So this is a good time to focus on your plants taking root and also the integrity of the pulp and you can also transplant at this time. Now, first, our disclaimer. Watching this video or reading this document is an act of spiritual willpower, and any such action is considered magic. High magic should be used with all mindfulness, since powerful forces of manifestation are unleashed. This is intended exclusively for entertainment purposes. I'm Pastor Rosemary, the Astrology Angel. I'm a Rosicrucian seer, biblical astrologer, Christian psychic, Gnostic mystic, and this is a Readings by Rosemary angelic transmission. Visit www.readingsbyrosemary.com. Normally, during a new moon lunar cycle, in general, urban and suburban gardeners will prevail, gaining a green thumbs up by planting parsley, celery, broccoli, cabbage, oats, quinoa, millet, wheat, flaxseed, rye, spinach, endive, lettuce, corn, and rice, to name just a few familiar edibles, utilizing annuals which flourish above ground. Crops with seeds developed on the outside are best at this portion of Luna's phases. A new moon is the beginning of a waxing moon. From the new moon to full moon portion of a lunar cycle, water in the earth will be pulled up by Luna, just like her sway over ocean tides, although 24 to 48 hours before a full moon is the phase which provides an even larger gravitational effect. A new moon makes abundant water available for growth. Specifically, during a new moon in the sign of Libra, the scales center upon planting flowers that fill your garden with sweet-smelling delights. Aromatic herbs such as lavender are edible, as well as petals from flowers such as roses, which can be added to fruit salads for a sensational treat. Transplantation of flowers and herbs are also recommended on a new moon phase in Libra. An urban or suburban gardener ought to wait until a second quarter waxing moon phase in Libra to sow vine crops such as jasmine, passion fruit, or apple blossom. Transplantation of these is also favorable when Libra's moon waxes more brightly. Since a new moon in Libra, the scales, is a masculine sign of the zodiac, being fire of air or cardinal air, remember that is also moist, granting it enough of the feminine yin quality of moistness to give it a fair amount of fertility. Please note that 24 to 48 hours before a full moon in the sign of Libra, the scales, is also a great happening for the purpose of planting or transplantation of the above-mentioned flowers and vines, while the moonlight is still waxing and increasing in brightness. You will have to wait for a full moon in Libra to select a few of these varietals for adding to your evening stew. Wait for a mature third quarter or fourth quarter waning moon in Libra phase to plant beautiful landscaping selections like weeping cherry trees, Cleveland ornamental pear trees, and magnolias. Planetary Archangel Gabriel rules over Luna, although on a new moon expressing receptivity. Libra is Venusian in nature, and therefore influences of the planetary archangel Anael hold sway during a new moon in Libra. Since Venus rules over this masculine cardinal air sign in the zodiac sign of Libra, the scales, being the daytime abode of the planet Venus, keep in mind that Libra is fire of air, and therefore it is important to invoke or call upon the Venusian zodiacal facet known as the attribute of God, the morning star, found in Revelation 22:16 in the Douay-Rheims Bible. I, Jesus, have sent my angel to testify to you these things in the churches. I am the root and stock of David, the bright and morning star. Zodiac angel Zuriel rules over Libra, the scales, astrology sign. Speaking of the new moon, return to 2 Chronicles chapter 2 verse 4 in the JPS Tanakh 1917 version. Behold, I am about to build a house for the name of the Lord my God, to dedicate it to him, and to burn before him incense of sweet spices, and for the continual showbread, and for the burnt offerings morning and evening, on the Sabbaths, and on the new moons, and on the appointed seasons of the Lord our God. This is an ordinance forever to Israel. Information found in this document is based on the oral tradition known as Kabbalah, taught to me by Rosicrucian clergy when I was but a young girl, the facts of which I've committed to memory. Thank you for joining us, and please join us again.